There's a strong crossover between Symbolicy the script and Symbolicy the experimental series. To give you a little taste of the script, 4 film students come across the work of the mystic Simon J. Moyer. And there's about 3 boxes, and it's filled with material, dated, undated, scattered all over the place. So the filmmakers decide to split it 4 ways. And it's then that the filmmakers become more of a subject of their own documentary. Because it's then they all split, they all organize the material. They also experience an expansion led by Simon that opens them up, and then they eventually all come together, organize it completely, put them into working binders, and present them as gifts. And speaking of gifts, I was fortunate enough to receive one shortly after I completed the second half of the Symbolicy series. I was given 18 binders, and it was then I had the material I needed to start the third half of my Symbolicy project called Boxes to Binders. And so that's when I also knew that I was crossing that bridge again, because I too, like Simon, had several boxes of material scattered, dated, undated, whatnot. It was then that I recycled all this old material, kept all the good stuff, organized it, put them into working binders as a gift to myself, and a gratitude for the gift that I was given. And now that that is complete, it's time for me to now do the expansions that you're watching right now. And that's going back to the script of Symbolicy, to get back into the story, into the characters. And the way I'm going to do it is to do the expansions that I wrote for them in the story, to kind of see how that opens me up as a creator, to give me better direction for this film, and hopefully better tell the stories of the characters. As a child, I used to visualize people from all walks of life and time. And once I got a clear picture of them, I'd always think to myself, if this person existed once here on Earth, or do they still exist? And what is their message, and why am I seeing and feel their energy? So this expansion is kind of similar to visualizing these people. However, this time I know they exist. I know they once had a life here on Earth. So what I do, I plan on finding several different photos and taking those people out of there and using them as inspiration, kind of to tell their story, to give me some guidance in this dream expansion. At the same time, I'll pay tribute to them by doing an artistic collage based on the imagery of the 3 dreams that were represented. And hopefully this will give me some kind of guidance, some kind of creative opening from these people that I chose from these vintage photos. Ella's expansions are very similar to Anthony, however the rules have changed a little bit. So part of the expansion is for me to write down any questions, any thoughts, any feelings, any guidance that I want to receive, whatever it may be. And what I'll do is I'll write them down on a piece of paper, cut them up, and then I'll fold them up. And then what I'll do is put them into a Ziploc bag, shake it up, and let the games begin. So in my Symbolicy projects, there are countless ways to do these expansions. So part of this expansion, what I do is put the good energy out and shake it up, the Ziploc bag, put the good energy and see what I need to, what I'm going to use as guidance. And we're going to pick out one of these questions, one of these ideas. And then what I'm going to do for 3 nights is record my dreams. And then at the very end, blend all this dream information together in hopes to create a kind of a positive outcome, a positive a positive kind of guidance story, whatever it may be, that would reflect the question or the idea that I picked out of the Ziploc bag in order to tell the story. I love that in our lives here on Earth that we're surrounded by the sacredness of numbers on a daily basis. Just like letters, there's an art form to the combos that you can do with numbers as well. So when you find ways to blend those two together, you can truly open up a variety of creative possibilities. I love the idea that you can give a musician a set of numbers, and he can transfer that information and play it on the guitar. And so why not, use that inspiration and create names and words and phrases and blend it with, the alphabet. Blend the alphabet with the corresponding numbers and play that information on the guitar, and have that be the new inspiration. It could be names and words and people and inspiration. I'm gonna create from that. So because I'm gonna kind of take this expansion light, I'm gonna start with just my initials, what happen to be BNG. When you translate my alphabet into the numbers, that equals 213.7. So my first challenge is to play the bass line of 213.7. Because there's such a large gap between the 2 and 13, I decided to create another option called Keep Them Separated, where I separate the 1 and the 3, giving it a 2, 1, 3, 7 combo. But I don't want to keep them separated for long, so I want to bring them together to kind of see what they're made of. So I add the 1 and 3 together to give it a 2, 4, 7 bass line combination. So again, these possibilities are endless when creating different kind of phrases and words and incorporating the thing. So why don't we take a stand and kind of keep rolling with this kind of energy and see what we can create. Okay, so last but not least, one of the driving forces behind Symbolicy's script and one of the main characters, Sage. And part of Sage's story is about honoring of the mystic Simon J. Moyer. And it's her goal to deliver his words, his message, to be able to tell his story. It's her goal to tell his story. But in order to do that, and part of her expansion is to kind of go back into her inner child and kind of heal events from her past. So part of getting into her character, that's what I kind of prepare to do with this expansion. I plan on kind of going back to events in my life where I felt nervous, scared, worried, doubt, or hurt in any situation, and kind of go back as my current self, to go back and do these guided imagery and meditations to help heal the inner child, to give it a new life, a new feel, and a new ending to the story, to give it a positive kind of outlook. So as I return to my current self, I turn to my future self and I give gratitude and thanks for the guiding light as I travel to the next stages of future development. This expansion is to receive the universal message with the help of a radio station and my imagination. Kind of as of late, in the last couple of years or so, I've been kind of on this blues, jazz, classical, new age kind of kick. But over the expansion to really work, I'll have to tune into a more lyrically based station. So I'm going to head back to a close musical companion of 13 years, a station that's for the people, by the people, of 90.3 KEXP here in Seattle. And with my Symbolicy project, there are possibilities are endless. But since this expansion is about my inner child, I'll use my birthday as inspiration. So for 4 days, I will tune into KEXP at 4:19, and I'll write down the name of the band and the song that's being played. I'll then get the lyrics of all 4 of those songs and blend them together to tell the universal message, tell a story about where I'm at in my life, what direction I'm going, and what can come out of this story when I create it. Let's see what are the possibilities of this project and what needs to be told, So, and then I can do is also represent these bands that I use their material and blended those 4 together, and hopefully that'll help spread the word, generate what I'm doing, So we'll see how it goes and tell this universal message.